Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the September 2020 Paletteful Packs Premiere box. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and see what's in the box. Now the first thing that I see is the really cute Betsy sticker. I think their dog's name is Betsy. And a small thank you note. And the next thing that I see is the menu. The first thing on here is the daler-rowney Aquafine watercolor inks. They are highly saturated, pigment based, and are water soluble. They do retail for $8.20 each, and we received the red hue, lemon yellow, the ultramarine blue, and the ultramarine pink. I'm going to hold them upside down just so that you can have a better look at the colors. And moving on, we have the Crystal Bright number 4 silver brush. It says it can be used for watercolor, acrylic, squash inks, and all water media. Retails for $4.20. Next, we have the Legion Paper Aqua Mini Paper Pads, cold press and hot press. It says the paper features 100% cotton fibers, is acid-free, neutral pH, and linen-free. The paper delivers great results whether working wet, wet on dry, blending, lefting, or masking. Along with those, we have the Legion Paper Yupo Translucent Mini Paper Pad, also retails for $1.99. This is going to be interesting to use, although I really wish that they would have just sent us a full-size sample of one of the three. And now retailing for 99 cents, the round 10-wheel paint tray. So now I'm going to shake all of these up, put them into the well, and then start with some swatches. Now, because they are pigment based, you have to make sure that you shake them every time, or else, the pigment can get separated over time. So now I'm moving on to swatches. I'm going to first swatch all 4 inks on the Aqua Cold Press. This paper is the darker blue one, and it has all the texture on it. Letting the inks dry, and then after I'm going to reactivate it with water. What I found about by doing this is that it lifted the colors pretty well, and it blended really well without messing with the integrity of the paper. So far so good. Okay, so now I'm going to be moving on to the hot press. I'm going to do the same thing, swatch all 4 colors on this paper and then let them dry and try to reactivate it and see how it does. The problem that I had with this paper is that it is really smooth. So if the pigment laid on really nice, but when it came to trying to reactivate it, it just did not blend out smoothly. So I don't know if it was just me and maybe I was doing something wrong, using too much water or whichever, but this one did not do a good job like the first one. And I tried to swatch the ultramarine pink again because it was very patchy. And again, I'm not sure if it was me, maybe I didn't shake up the ink enough, but I did not like the way that the ultramarine pink applied on this paper or on the cold press paper. Here are all the swatches so that you could see how they blended out and compare to each other. Now I'm going to move on to the time lapse in my demo using these inks, and as this time lapse is playing, we can go over each item, talk about pros and cons of each one. Before I get into that though, let me explain to you what I'm sketching out here. It's a pumpkin and a little cup of coffee. I found the image on pexels.com. If you don't know what pexels.com is, it's a website where you can get a whole bunch of free stock images. So now let's get on to the pros and cons of this month's premiere pack box. Okay, so let's start with what it says about the daler-rowney Aquafine watercolor inks. The daler-rowney Aquafine watercolor inks are highly saturated, pigment-based, a water-soluble ink range with a high degree of light fastness and intermixability. It can be used directly out of the dropper or diluted to achieve subtle tones. Because the inks are formulated with genuine fine art pigments, colors will remain bright and vivid over time compared to dye-based inks, which will quickly fade. Included are the colors cadmium red hue, lemon yellow, ultramarine blue dark, and ultramarine pink. Again, they retail for $8.20 each. Let's see, the pros and cons for these inks. Firstly, I really do like the way that they are heavily pigmented. So a little goes a really, really long way. You barely have to dip into it to get a really good color, which is awesome. The only ink that I was having problems with was the ultramarine pink. For whatever reason, it just was not working well with me. I'm gonna try to use it again. I'm gonna shake it up better. Maybe that was the problem with it. Maybe I just didn't shake it well enough before I started to use it. Besides that, they mixed together great. I had a really hard time getting a dark color though, and you'll see that later on when I tried to paint the stem of the pumpkin like a darker color. But besides that, the inks, in my opinion, were great. I really didn't have any cons for it except for the ultramarine pink. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the next item, which was the silver brush crystal bright in the number 4. It says this brush can be used for watercolor, acrylics, gouache, inks, and all water media. Crystal brushes hold a generous amount of color that releases evenly and allows the brush to glide smoothly over paper. The brush is manufactured with Silver Brush's exclusive durable brown tip golden filaments that are set into nickel plated double crimped brass ferrules and fitted to beautifully balanced short matte teal handles, and they retail for $4.20. The only problem I really had with this brush is that it felt a little too stiff. And on here it says that you can use it for watercolor, acrylics, squash inks, and all water media. I could see it working pretty good for acrylics. I'm not that experienced with watercolors, gouache, or inks, so I'm not exactly sure about that, but I could see it working good with acrylics. But I don't think it's a good brush for blending. Besides that, it seems pretty sturdy. I really have nothing else bad to say about it, just the fact that it's just too stiff for my liking and it's a little small, but besides that it was okay. There's really nothing else to complain about. Pros, I mean, there's really no pros. It's a brush, it gets the job done. And now I'm going to move on to the pros and cons of the Legion Paper Aqua Mini paper pads, the cold press and the hot press. But first, let's read what it says. It says this paper features 100% cotton fibers, is acid free, neutral pH, and lignin free. The paper delivers great results whether working wet, wet on dry, blending, lifting, or masking. The mini pad format is ideal for trying out surfaces individually to experiment or to create miniature works of art, and they retail for $1.99 each. I'm also going to read what it says about the Legion paper, the translucent mini paper pad. It says the translucent synthetic paper made of 100% propylene offers a unique alternative to traditional art papers. Waterproof and stain resistant, it is exceptionally strong, durable, and will not buckle or tear. As a watercolor paper, it has the advantage of being non-absorbent, so paint colors lie on top of its surface, producing brilliant, vibrant effects. Colors retain their true clarity and brilliance. Best of all, it allows you to wipe off unwanted sections of your painting and start again with a fresh surface. And this also retails for $1.99. I'm going to be honest, I didn't even try out the translucent mini paper pad. It's something that just didn't call out to me. I'm not really interested in using it or trying it out. I don't see a purpose to it. Would you want me to try it out anyways and see if maybe it can change my mind? But I have no pros or cons on this one because I didn't even really try it out. It was kind of insignificant for me, in this box at least. Sorry about that. But with that out of the way, now let's talk about the mini paper pads, the cold press and the hot press. I really, really liked the cold press. The cold press was awesome. It blended smoothly for, at least for the type of paintings that I like to make, which is a lot of layering and blending. I think I would definitely prefer the cold press. Now the hot press I think would be better for people that don't layer too much or don't want to blend too much. At least in my opinion, it seems like it would be a lot harder to work with. But if you use inks and want to use like solid color, the hot press is definitely the one to get that job done. But in my opinion, the cold press was way better. The only con would be not with the paper itself, because again, neither one of the papers buckled or teared. It was more of how it worked when it came to blending. So the only con I have is that instead of sending us the mini paper pads, I wish they would have at least sent us a full sample of each one. I'm probably not gonna use these mini papers unless I use it as like a swatch or something to stick into my sketchbook. But besides that, the paper itself, great quality. Stonehenge always has great quality in my opinion. Um, but the con is more with a box. I just wish they would have sent full sample instead of these mini pads. And last but not least, the round 10 well paint tray. It says it's suitable for all water-based media. This sturdy round paint tray has a smooth, easy to clean surface and 10 deep paint wells, and they retail for 99¢. There's really no pros or cons to this well tray. I mean, it's pretty basic. It worked out well. It was fine. There was nothing amazing about it. There's nothing, it's just a basic tray. So there's nothing really that I could say much about it. Just came in handy, something good to put in the box that we could definitely use. And that's it for all the items that we had in our Paletteful premiere pack. How did you like the way that I kind of narrated the time lapse and read the menu? Is that something that you're interested in? Or do you think maybe I should narrate my time lapse step by step? I'm kind of stuck in whether or not I should read all the information and then talk about each item, or if I should just narrate what I'm doing and the steps that I take to achieve the painting and how to use the inks. Just leave me your thoughts and opinions down below. Down here, I'm just layering more, I'm adding more shades. Typically, I like to start with when it comes to watercolor at least, because I'm still practicing that. I like to use a light wash and then I slowly build up the layers. So that's what I'm doing here right now. But leave me your thoughts and opinions. Let me know, how did you like your box? How do you use it? Did you like the cold paper press or did you like the hot paper press? Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.